is so tremendous with his length, his athleticism, how his body is growing, and he's gaining weight and adding weight. I think he has the potential to be a really good player, and I'm excited for him to get on campus here in January and let us start getting to work with him.
As you go forward, how do you navigate what you need, and how much does Jared Verse's ultimate decision factor into how you approach that?
Well, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces in terms of the final roster management, especially at the defensive line. I know there's a couple guys on our current roster that are still looking to make some decisions, and I give them the time and space that they need for that. And then in terms of what we're going to do next, we've always had some success with the transfer portal, and I'm sure we'll look to add on to that as we move forward here, going closer to the new year.
How do you balance high school versus portal at the position as far as building the ranks and having guys who are ready today versus guys you're preparing to be ready down the road?
I think it's dependent on where your roster is at the time. A couple years ago when Jermaine and Kier came in, that was we were in dire need of 2 veteran presence to come in and play. And really, when those guys left, we felt like we definitely needed 1. And that's where Jared Verse came into play. I'm not going to kind of tip our hand too much in terms of what we're planning on doing here going into January, but I would suspect that there will definitely be some transfer talk here in the next week or so.
When I walked up, you were talking about Jaden. Could you take me back through the evaluation process when you identified him and why you were so excited?
Yeah, Tony Tokarz actually was out at his school seeing somebody else, and that's where he kind of came onto our radar, and we started watching really his practice tape from the spring, because that was what was the best indicator of where he currently was, and it was super impressive. We thought, we need to make the offer, and then we had a chance to get him down on campus and get a chance to know him and get a chance to meet his mother, who's a tremendous woman in her own right, and just it fit. It was the right fit for us. And then watching his development through fall camp, continuing to watch his practice film, you could see he was on pace to really have a good season. And it was super unfortunate that he got injured, but sometimes things happen for a reason. And I think he's ready to come back stronger and better than ever before.
Did he have any concern that you guys may not stick with him after the injury?
He did, and I think that's what really solidified his commitment to us. Was once we got all the information from a medical standpoint, we had no doubts and concerns that he would be able to make a full recovery and be everything that we think he could be. And I think the fact that we stuck by him and stood by him in that tough moment is one of the reasons why I think he was as committed and as loyal as he was through the process. Because other schools did start to come in, including schools that I think he grew up liking. But he never for 1 minute paid any attention to it. And in today's world of recruiting, that doesn't happen very often.
From what I remember, though, he was kind of an unknown a little bit when you guys got the commitment. Is there ever any reservation, like when you guys make an offer, an evaluation, make an offer, that, hey, why isn't anybody else looking at him? Does that even ever cross your guys' minds at all? Why aren't more schools?
I think the biggest thing is that you have to trust your evaluations. We've taken some guys at that position or as a program since I've been here with Coach Norvell that may have not been the most heralded guys, whether it was through the transfer portal or in high school recruiting, and we've hit on some, and I think it surprised people on that. And I have full confidence in our evaluation of Jaden. I think he's going to be a really talented player, and I'm excited about what it's going to look like going forward.
And then how Boots committed so early? Like, how far has he come since when he committed?
Oh, it's and we were talking about that. We had a little bit of a trip down memory lane on his official visit this past weekend, and just, from the first time I met him when he was a freshman, he was kind of like a shy, little awkward, probably 14-year-old at the time, 15 or whatever it was, and now to see how he's kind of grown and become more confident and really transitioning kind of to being a young man, just how much he's grown over the course of the last couple of years, and he's just starting. When he gets here and he gets in the program, I think he's going to continue to develop, and I'm really excited about seeing what it looks like for him when we have this same conversation 2 or 3 years from now about his growth and development.
I know his dad is so proud of Florida State and his career, and I guess he brought a spear to the signing ceremony. And how was he during the process? Did he let Boots do it on his own, or how involved was he?
Awesome. Lamont has been awesome through this whole thing. He's supportive, but there's nothing about him that's ever pushed anything. He's not. He has no sense of entitlement in the way he approaches anything because he's such a great player. He's just a good guy that wants to support us. And ever since Coach Norvell has been here, supported us the whole time. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate him and how he helps us recruit other players when he's here on weekends, whether they're defensive ends or not, whether they potentially could be in competition with his son. He's always been there for us, and I really look forward to building that relationship with him when his son gets here and we continue to grow together.
And then if you could just talk a little bit about the young defensive linemen, the young defensive ends, we've talked to you about them in the past. And everybody's seen Patrick, but they haven't seen probably as much of Byron and Dante, and just how excited are you still about that group?
Really, really excited. I think, Byron has flashed a little bit on his kickoff, and he needs a year of being healthy. Unfortunately, since he's been here, he's kind of had a series of injuries that he's been dealing with. He had the shoulder, and then he had the hamstring. But I really believe if with a great off season, he's a guy that can be an impactful player for us. And, this bowl prep has been good for him. These extra practices that come with bowl preparation have been good. And, I can see him continuing to grow and get better. Because he's tough and he's athletic and he has all those traits that you want, but we need to have a good spring and put it all together to prepare him for a good fall.
What does Dante need to do and just to keep developing, I guess?
Yeah, Dante's just so young.
And Aaron.
Yeah, so Dante is just such a young guy in terms of his maturity, not as an individual, but more just his development as a player. All of this was very foreign to him when he first got here, just the style in which we play and the expectations of what we do, even though he come from a really good high school program and was really well coached in high school. It's just what we do was such a departure for what he was used to. Every rep, he continues to get better. He's dramatically better than he was in the spring to the fall, and he's another guy that I think this coming spring is going to be really important. And then Aaron Hester, he's just such a worker. I think there's going to be a lot of bright things in his future because I think he has that toughness to persevere through all of the development.